Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to share with you guys another watch by Aragon Watches, and this is the bad boy right here. And this is their Virtuoso watch. They make several different variations on this watch. The one they sent me here to share with you guys is their titanium version with the flat T100 tritium tube. So if you're unfamiliar with tritium, basically it's a radioactive material they use on the indices on this watch where it's always glowing. You don't need sunlight to charge up the lume. It's just always going to glow until you get to the point where one day it reaches its half-life and then it's going to be half as bright basically. But that's going to take over 20 years for that to happen. Tritium is an awesome material to use in a lot of gun sights and basically anything you want to have some kind of lume without the need for light or charging it up. So the Virtuoso is kind of Aragon's flagship watch. It's one that they make in several different variations, and I tried to get my hands on one of their gemstone editions because that's one I've had my eye on for a while, but they were nice just to send me this one here, which is a limited edition titanium version. So let me just tell you about the other watches here that they have if you want to check those out. And of course, I'll tell you a little bit about this watch and I'll show you guys what it looks like on the wrist. It is available in several different variations. So of the ones they have this particular one is powered by a Swiss ETA 2824 movement. So you're not going to find the Seiko movements in these. They're going to use a little bit of a higher end movement. Does it really make a difference? Does it matter? You know, I mean, they all just tell time, but that is more of a respected movement. Again, the Seiko is a great movement. Nothing wrong with it, but the ETAs and the 7750 Val shoes are ones that are just a little bit more, I guess, I would say sought after. They make, a lot of these are sold out too. So they have the Gemstone Edition, which they only have the looks like citrine version. They had garnet and they had black onyx. Those are gone. Those are going for $3 grand. So pretty pricey. Then of course they have the 9100, where is, let's see what that one's powered by. So it's powered by a Miyota 9100, and then of course the ETA or the ETA and the Valjoux 7750. So a lot of these watches sell out pretty quick just because it is one of their limited edition versions. Not all of the watches they make are limited edition. There's only 100 pieces of this particular one. This is number 97. So let's go ahead and take a look at this particular one. I want to tell you guys about what you get with it. So again, you get the ETA 2824. That is a Swiss-made movement, of course. The watch is, of course, Swiss-made. It does say Swiss-made. And for those of you who don't know what that means, the watch doesn't have to be made in Switzerland to hold that classification. 48 millimeters in case diameter, 17 millimeters in case thickness. The bracelet is made of titanium. I believe the case is as well. It does have a helium release valve, titanium case, and flat tritium tubes. 7.5 ounces in weight. Very, very lightweight watch for a watch of this size. Push button dual deployment clasp. This is something I have not seen on any other Aragon watch to date. I think that's pretty awesome. It's always a feature I like on a watch. Not a lot of watches I have that. You have a screw down crown, and this particular one has a sapphire crystal. So Aragon generally doesn't use sapphire. They use the K1. This one does have sapphire for you folks who really appreciate that and want that higher end crystal on a timepiece. It does have a unidirectional rotating bezel. I believe it's 120 click. It's nice and tight to the watch like all their watches. And this thing has got a lot of lume on the numbers on the bezel. I mean, this thing's glowing in here. We're not even really in any kind of direct sunlight. Definitely has more glow and more lume than the charger that I just reviewed. And what I like about the bezel in this here, you have these screws, or what we call kind of, they're not really pillars, but sort of these screws that go around the entire bezel, kind of giving you a little bit of contrast and a little bit of an aggressive look. I like that they've done the crown in a different color with their classic red Aragon logo, and then your silver helium release valve on the other side in stainless steel. I think it's a nice color combination, a nice contrast with the watch. Also showing off these mirror polished silver stainless steel screws around the bezel. The band on this is pretty cool, kind of an interesting design, simple and clean. Very, very tight like all these watches are. I mean, none of them really, I only mention that a lot of times because folks are like, oh man, the Rolex, hardly any play. You know, it's not really an indication of quality, it's just an indication of how they decide to manufacture the watch. but I do love the band on this. I think it's really clean, very unique, and just a great quality watch, guys. If you're looking for titanium, something lightweight, some of you guys like the larger watches but don't like the weight. Titanium, lightweight, super solid, good quality. All right, so that's really about it for the specifics, except for the water resistance is 1,000 meter or 3,300 feet, which is a lot. Awesome looking, guys. Now, I mean, me personally, I would love to have seen the gemstone edition. Pricing this one here, you're going to pay $800 on sale. So the Virtuoso is one of the watches that, if you know that of all the watches Aragon makes, it is more towards their higher end line. It is on the top end of what they charge for their watches. For me personally, it's a little bit difficult to rationalize. You know, I've always said a black watch needs something to kind of pop, but everybody's taste is different. I think it's a fine quality watch. Anything Aragon makes is of exquisite quality. You're getting that Swiss-made movement. You're getting an all-titanium band and case, and you know it's in that lume. And that lume is pretty expensive to put on any kind of watch. Generally, any watch I've seen with the tritium, you tend to pay more for it, especially when you have the flat tubes on there. It tends to be a higher priced feature on a lot of these watches. So alright guys, let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. Now I have a 7-inch wrist. This watch again is unsized, and I apologize for that, but these watches are on loan and they are going back. So we don't want to go ahead and size it and wear it around. We don't want to risk hurting the watch at all. But there is going to be a little bit of slack. I'll try to hold it so you can see what it looks like on a guy my size, my height, and my weight. I have a 7-inch wrist, 170 pounds, and about 5'7½". Pretty cool looking, you know, if you're looking for something with sapphire, again, that Swiss movement, titanium, very nice looking watch. But again, very clean, very simple, definitely not going to get noticed like their gemstone editions. Black watches are always a little bit kind of a struggle for me, and I don't want this to come across, because I'm always transparent with you guys, but you know, black watches for me always kind of need a little something extra, because really, you know, at a distance, it just looks like a black watch. And this particular one is a very simple watch. So there's not a lot that's really going to pop on this particular one. I think that in the mirror polished, or in, of course, in with those gemstones, I think this watch would be a lot more beautiful. But if you're the kind of guy who wants something very tactical, of highest quality, and that titanium, then look no further. This one here does not have an exhibition window on the back, which is surprising. I would have expected that on this watch. I think that, because Aragon, that's something they put on most of their watches, but you know, especially having an edit movement, I would definitely like to see what that looks like. See that rotor spinning around. I think it was a mistake not putting that on this one, but I'm sure they had their reason. I just think at the price point, it's a little steep for what you're getting on this particular watch. And I'm not trying to discourage you from buying this. This is a great quality watch, but for $800, I would have expected you know, an exhibition window again, but you have to compare it to watches like the Aqua Dive. You're paying about $2,000 for that. That one does have an edit movement as well. The edit movements you definitely pay more for, just like the Valjoux. That does drive the price up. If you are the type of guy who wants to have a movement of a higher quality like that, I mean, when you start comparing it to, you know, a Rolex, that's a lot more expensive than something like this. But there's, you know, when you start getting up to $800, there's a lot of other watches that you can get. But I think the Aragon prices their watches accordingly based on what you're getting and the movement. Again, the sapphire crystal. But then again, I always think sapphire is kind of like, I don't know. I personally have never scratched a K1. I've never scratched just a Flame Fusion. I've never scratched even a basic cheap glass mineral crystal that is more towards the lower end of the quality of crystal. But again, if you're careful with your stuff, and you take care of it, you know, I mean, you don't really scratch things very well. I mean, I've never scratched anything, so I don't know. But still a nice looking watch, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I love getting stuff like this and sharing it with you guys, just because I like to hear what you guys have to say. Check this watch out in the links in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And stay tuned for more watches. If you guys have any requests from Aragon, let me know. I'll put my order in. Once these videos upload, I'll send these back and give another shipment for you guys. I'm going to be reviewing next. This is one of their Aragon charger bracelets. This one here is pretty awesome looking if you're looking for something that is just a masculine chunky bracelet. Motorcycle lover, look no further. Awesome. I mean, threaded links. Also, I forgot to mention, this watch does have threaded links and not push pin, so that's always a nice feature on a watch. Alright guys, so thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video. If you subscribe, because I know that 11,000 of you have not clicked the bell, because if you click the bell, you would know that I put this video up. It's really the only way to be notified anytime I put up new content, and I want you guys to be able to see all this cool stuff. So remember, if you make a purchase, please do it through my links. It does help support the channel. Every link to every store that I have, any kind of affiliate deal I have, is in the description. I do appreciate if you use the links. If not, always get it from where you feel most comfortable buying it for the best price, and come back and tell me about it, because I love hearing about it. Find me on Facebook, show me those wrist shots, and as always guys, have a wonderful day. Take care.